It was Monday.
The workday hadn't even begun. We already learned about the helicopter crash in Brovary.
Brovary police are calling. A kindergarten's on fire because of the helicopter. Helicopter or Shahed? Helicopter. A military helicopter.
They sent equipment. Board 54. The incredibly shocking events of the morning of January 18, 2023, when in Brovary, SES helicopter with Interior Minister Denis Monastyrsky and the Ministry of Internal Affairs leadership on board, crashed on the territory of a kindergarten.
Rescue operation in Brovary Kyiv region at the crash site of the SES helicopter lasted almost 9 hours. 5 people were injured, including 11 children. 14 people died, including 1 child. My condolences to all who have lost loved ones.
Do you remember that terrible day? Have new details of this tragic story emerged? Let's find out more about the investigation into the plane crash, because now a documentary film about that day has been released in which the State Bureau of Investigation reveals all of the details. The film tells about the details of the plane crash with the leadership of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, but at the same time exposes billions of embezzlement schemes in the Ministry of Defense, and shows new details of the high-profile case of the Lviv businessman who tried to bribe an SBI investigator for $500,000.
Was fundamentally important for us to answer several initial questions as soon as possible. What was the reason? Is the reason a diversion by the Russian Federation?
A pistol was found on the territory of the scene inspection.
We explored several versions of this tragedy at once. The use of EW equipment, friendly fire, even pilot recruitment, given the subject being transported. And the main theory at the time was a terror attack.
So the Interior Ministry was left without leadership then, and this during wartime. That same day, an acting minister was appointed and official flights were banned. An investigation into the causes of the tragedy started in parallel.
We simultaneously sent investigative teams to conduct immediate searches aimed at seizing documentation regarding the aircraft's technical condition on Hayyuni.
What specific documentation do you keep? Talk, a record book, and there are records.
Yes, since when have you kept this book?
Since December of 2020.
If we hadn't acted immediately, the evidence could have been destroyed, the records altered.
During the review of the helicopter's technical documentation, it turned out that 2 units had been replaced before the crash. The active vibration control system and the heading and course determination system. One possible cause of the tragedy, investigators say, is a malfunction related to the sensor not being reprogrammed according to the operating conditions of this helicopter. During the inspection of the wreckage, a flight recorder was found. Although it was burnt, its condition remained suitable for operation. Decoding data from flight recorders, the so-called black boxes, is key to air crash probes, as they hold full data on the speed, flight path, engine stats, and through talks with controllers. At first, the probe team thought a shot rang out. The sound was close, but tests showed it wasn't a gun. Most likely the pellet hit his headset mic. No blasts or shots were caught by the boxes. Terror and radio wave theories were dropped. The fuel was good. Systems worked fine. Crew error in bad weather is the main cause, I think. That day, the Interior Minister planned a trip to Izium. The forecast was flyable, but with thick fog at the start. It proved fatal.
Why didn't you check the weather, make a forecast for Nori and Pucci and Brovary and Nora? I didn't know the route was over Nova Petrivka and Brovary.
We polygraph tested
The staff weatherman His story checked out. You to blame for the crash? No.
So what really happened that tragic day? Fog. The captain saw a high-rise embroidery at the last second and a sharp move, and the sound thought to be a shot. Was the mic hit? This sound was first thought to be a shot. That theory was disproved in the probe. Then the helicopter gained altitude. Speed dropped to 0. Autopilot could have leveled it, but the pilot intervened. With 0 visibility, there wasn't enough altitude. Then impact the kindergarten roof. Experts agree the cause was human error. Improper flight planning. The pilot wasn't cleared for those conditions, but agreed to fly. However, at some point, the investigation went far beyond the crash. Over 300 volumes of case files, billion-dollar embezzlement schemes uncovered in the Ministry of Defense, bulletproof vests pierced by bullets, helmets that break by hand, uniforms that look like children's. Soldiers showed photos and videos. The gear is substandard and, moreover, dangerous.
This is clothing, footwear. Well, this is material, food, fuel, and lubricants. We received information from the Central Quality Control Department that the deputy, Mr. receives a report every week about substandard goods arriving, but he forbade direct inspection.
It turns out each batch of vests was supposed to undergo ballistic testing in labs, but by order of the deputy minister's subordinate, they began accepting them by weight. Soldiers were shocked because during their own checks, the vests were pierced with the first shot. This caused anger and outrage because it was about the lives of people who risk their lives every day at the front. And former Deputy Defense Minister Shapovalov, responsible for procurement, effectively destroyed the quality control system, and sitting in offices, officials supplied substandard equipment to the war. The SBI investigation revealed billions of hryvnias went to contracts with intermediary firms, often without experience in producing protective gear. There were cases when, instead of bulletproof plate, soldiers were issued airsoft vests that couldn't withstand a single shot. The state paid for the highest level of protection, but received dangerous junk. Investigators also identified dozens of military units where the same bulletproof vests remained in warehouses. These samples were pierced during testing, confirming the scale of the fraud. It turned out that contracts were concluded with companies linked to advisors and relatives of high-ranking officials. The cynicism is that Ukraine was asking for help from Europe and the United States at this time, waiting for that help for months, receiving it by the teaspoon, while domestic officials embezzled funds and bought luxury real estate abroad. As a result of the investigation, suspicions were raised against the Deputy Minister of Defense, heads of procurement, and quality control departments. Today, the equipment verification system works better, but then thousands of lives were endangered.
Were 3 such companies, and they were all interconnected. They carried out billion-dollar deliveries to military units throughout Ukraine.
The price from the manufacturer and the price indicated in the contracts with the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine differed by 40–50%.
Some of the clothing supplied by the 3 companies to the Ministry of Defense was made of synthetics. Such fabric posed a danger to the military. All it took was a spark to ignite it. Investigators found that a well-known Lviv businessman was behind these firms. He tried to drop the case and get back seized assets. He offered a bribe of $500,000 right then and there. Ihor Hrynkevich had connections, fancy apartments, a luxury Mercedes, living the high life. While the state lost billions, mares pilares meant for días. Agents documented every move, watched him around the clock. The businessman kept changing plans, but was eventually exposed. He arrived at a restaurant in branded clothes with a tactical bag bearing the Ukrainian coat of arms. After the money changed hands, the order to arrest him was given.
Get to work!
The guy was twice my size. He resisted, held onto the table, but we have special techniques that helped us detain him. During the arrest, the businessman's car was blocked. Inside, they found drugs and a bag. You better sit down for this, with $500,000. This bribery attempt confirmed his involvement with Ministry of Defense suppliers. The investigation proved that the businessman's son, Roman Hrynkevich, was also involved, contacting officials and influencing their decisions. Despite attempts to flee abroad, he was caught in Odessa and detained by special forces. During the search, they found a passport and cash, likely intended for illegal border crossing. New details in the investigation of the crash that killed former Interior Minister Monast Tersalski and his team shed light on what really happened that tragic day. Yes, human error and dense fog were the causes of the plane crash. But the probe's path shed light not just on this case, but led detectives to uncover vast corruption in the defense ministry supply of faulty gear and attempts to bribe investigators. I wonder what new probes will surface in high-profile cases. We love to expose schemes, so we await the next details and we'll bring them straight to you. Vaiki. That's all from me. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Join us, stay informed. All will be Ukraine.